What's up, guys? Welcome back to Kick It with Lose Fix It. Today I brought out a couple of my Arrma cars because I just wanted to give a quick rundown on this is pretty much maintenance in your car. The reason why I brought all three of these ones out, this is the Vendetta, this is the Arrma Vendetta Typhon. This chassis is pretty much the Mega in the Typhon 3S, and this is the Vertex, Arrma Vertex. So I just wanted to show you how to get your differentials in and out the easiest way on either one of these cars. I brought them all out just because I wanted to show you that all of these cars is pretty much the same. I could take the differential out of this one and put it inside either one of these and it wouldn't matter. They all will run, they all will work the same. And I mean the whole setup, the arm pieces that come out, everything, the casing that is in, everything. I could pull this one off, put it in here, close it up, it'll work the same. Put it in here, it'll work the same. I could take this front one off, put it in the back, put it into the back of these ones. That one piece of work on any of these cars, front or back. It's the same piece, it works the same, everything is identically the same. So I just brought all three of them out just, because, I have three of the Arrma cars, and it's the ones with the plastic chassis like this. Some of them, like this is a 110, this is a 1.8, and I believe this is a 1.82. None of them is 1.7. These two is pretty much identically the same. It's just the front, the shock towers is different to give it a different top on it. This one is a 110, so the chassis is a little bit shorter than these two. So pretty much the only difference in the setup in the chassis is the center shaft. So the center shaft is a little bit smaller on this one than these ones. Everything else is identically the same. You wouldn't tell the difference if I just hold both of them up and show you just the chassis. So everything goes on the same way, the motor, all that stuff, the ESC, everything goes on the same way. Everything that could be used from either one of these cars. So if you have the Typhon and you want to know what pieces you need for your Vendetta or your Vertex or Infraction, the Infraction Mega, any one of the cars with the plastic chassis, all of them come with the same pieces. Only thing different is your shock towers and your shocks that makes the car either sit up or sit down low. So I'm going to be working on the Mega today to show you how to get in and out. I'm only going to do the front of the car, and I'm just going to show you how to get in and out of there real quick. I believe it's about 5 screws to get in and out of the front, the shock tower to get your differential out. So let me put these ones up. I'm gonna set everything up for you. So if you're only doing your front, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have 6 screws that you have to take off doing your front. From the top, all you have to do is take off your shocks. So you pull your shocks out, everything drops down. That's all you have to take off from the top of it, right? From the bottom, you have 4 screws. You have 3 holding the front of your shock tower that's inside of your skid plate. This one here, you have 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, and then you have 1 inside of the chassis, right in the front of the chassis. It's the only big screw head that's down there. For this, you're going to need the 2.5 millimeter to get these 3 screws out. Take this screw out last. The one that's in the chassis, I would advise to take that one out last. It really don't matter how you take them out, but I would take this one out last. Now that I got the first 3 screws out that's in the skid plate, you do not have to take that center screw out that's holding the skid plate. That skid plate is not going nowhere. I'm not taking a bumper off. So you do not have to worry about taking that front, that center skid plate off. I mean the center screw for the skid plate. Now, when you're taking off this last screw, that's the biggest screw that's in your chassis in the front, you hold the shock tower so it do not fall. You do not want to lose any of your pieces that's holding on top of this, because that's your control arms. You don't want to lose any of your washers or barbarians for that. So now that you got everything loose, your shock tower is completely loose. Sorry about that. So you do have to take your center shaft out. You do have to take your center shaft because it's going into your the gearing for your differential. So once you have your shock tower loose, you lift up from the inner side of your car and you pull your shock tower up that way. This is why you have to take your shocks off, because your shocks would have been holding the shock tower down. So you lift it up that way, you reach inside and pull your differential out. And that's how you get your differential out. 1, 2, 3. And this setup, just like this, could be used inside any one of the 3 vehicles that I had up here. And it will work the front or the back. So to get this open, to get this, to get inside of your differential, you have 4 screws. You have 1 screw going inside. There's a screw inside of this arm all the way in the back, and the screw do not come out. So do not try to get the screw to come all the way out. You just loosen it up and pull this arm off like so. And the arm pops right out. The screw do not come out. Do not try to get that screw out. Now that you got everything out, these 2 arms off, you have 2 screws. You have 1 screw on the front side of, you have 1 screw on the face of both sides of this mount for your differential. 1 on this side, and on the other side is sunk in. You take those 2 screws out, and this piece comes right off. Now you down to just your differential. The barbarians, you don't have to take those off regardless, unless you're changing the whole casing of it. You do not have to take those off to get inside. You have 4 screws here on the face of it. You can unscrew those screws. Okay, now once you got all of them screws loosened up and out of there, you hold down one side of your gearing. You push down on that and you pull the cover of it off. So that keeps all of your gears in place. Your cover comes off. If you changing this whole thing, do exactly what I just did. Take the top cover off. Put this top cover on your new gearing, because the top don't change. If anything is wrong with it and this is stripped, your gearing is stripped, your gearing is stripped. This top piece could be used on the next one. If you don't want to use the top piece on the next one, take the new top, put it on this one. You will put it on. You will flip it over. Now, I don't want to take mine off because I just refilled my gear or my fluid inside this up. But you will flip it over and you will push down on this pin and pull the casing off and leave everything in the top, and then put your new casing on and just slide it down where it needs to be slid, how it needs to be slid on. So the way this goes in, that's how you pull it off. Okay, so you have 2 gearing that's sitting up top, 2 sitting down a little bit lower. Then you have 2 empty spaces. The empty spaces is for this area, these 2 square sides on your top of your gearing. Those 2 goes inside of the empty space on both sides, and everything else will line up. And you slide it back on, and it goes back in. Well, my fluid is stopping me from keeping it closed so tight, but it goes in, and make sure that it's closed, that it's tight. Then you can seal everything back up. When you're putting these screws back into the face of this gearing, you would do it as if you tightening up your lugs on your car. So don't just go around, put all the gearings in, going around in a circle. You will go one on the bottom, cross over to the top, go on the other side of the top, and then cross over to the bottom. That's how you will put your screws in. Don't tighten them up all the way as you're putting them in. Tighten them up till they in there pretty good, but not finished tight. Put all the screws in and then go back and tighten it up so that your gearing, your gasket is not getting crushed down on one side before you tighten everything up. So after you got all your screws in and they tight pretty okay, I would take a hand tool and just give it a slight turn. Instead of using your drill to tighten it all the way up, I would give it a slight turn till it feels tight enough for you, your comfort. All right, so you give her a good clean down. Because you're inside here, you're already in here, so you might as well clean it down. Change your grease that's going to go on here. For your gearing, you change your grease on there. Now, putting it back together. So to know what side is what, because this can't go back on any type of way. So the face plate that don't have nothing on here on this front half is the part that goes on the side where your gearing is at. So that part will go here on this side, sits like that. The other side got a little notch. If you could see that, it got a little notch on it right here. And that little notch prevents it from fitting on the side where the gearing is at. And it makes it sit back, or it rubs onto your gearing. It don't sit properly. So when you're putting this back together, that's how you know if you're putting it on right. I will put the side on the gearing on first. Take your small gearing that you have. It have the rod, the gearing with the rod on the bottom of it, and then two barbarians on it. You put a little space in between the barbarians and slide it into its place. It should slide in and look like this. Come on. It should slide in and look like this with a little space in between it. And then you put your other side on, and that should slide in nice and smooth. It should close pretty good. It should not be any gaps inside there. If it's a gap inside there, you did something wrong. Take it apart, put it back together. Maybe you got your sides on wrong. The gap will be if you have the piece where the notch is at on where your gearing is at. Everything should run nice and smooth. It don't matter how tight you hold the top together because it got to get screwed in together. So put your two screws back in. Now that's put together. You take your two arms, put your two arms back on, tighten them screws up. All right, so now you're back to your differential with your arms on the side. Everything is put back together. Right now you can put your oil on, not your oil, your grease on your gears and give it a twist to make sure that the gearing is nice and oiled up. Once you twist it enough, it'll spread throughout the whole gearing. It'll spread when you run in the car anyway. So now when you're putting it back in, inside of your shock tower, one of your walls is one side of the shock tower on the back, on the front side, on the opposite side from the center of your chassis. The back of the wall, one side is up further than the other side. The reason of that is because one side is for where the gearing is not at. The other side that's back further is so that your gearing could slide back in that little slot where it's back further. So that's how you will put this piece inside there. You will put it in, you would push to one side, get one arm completely in, line up the other side, pull it back to the other side to get it inside of the other arm. So now that you got your differential back inside there, all you do, put back the 5 screws that you took out in the beginning, put back in your center shaft, and that's a well job done. If you're doing the back of your car, the same thing to the back of your car, you will have to take off your motor. You will have to get the motor out. And to get the motor out is just one screw underneath the bottom of the chassis to release this clip that sits on the side that holds your battery strap, and you pull the top, pull that out, your gearing is out, your motor is out of the way, and you just do the same thing. The process from the back to the front is the same, identically thing. You do not have to change any method of what I just did besides taking off your gearing. Taking off your motor. Okay, so I got everything back in. She's back on. She's back running. But it's new. So that was just a quick rundown on how to get inside quick, fast, without taking your whole front end or your back end off to get to your differentials. If you're trying to change them, if you're just trying to get inside to check the gaskets or check your fluids, which I will advise for you to do that once, probably every 3 months or so, depending on how you bashing. If you bashing hard, really hard, yeah, I would say every 3 months, somewhat like that, every 2 to 3 months to go inside and just take a look, make sure your gaskets is still holding good, make sure you ain't got no leaks inside there. It's pretty good to maintenance your car once in a while, go in and, take the shocks off and take the spring off of it and squeeze it, make sure it's still retracting out. If it's not, change your shock oil, get you a nice amount of shock oil so that you could go in and maintenance your car up, re-up on your shock oil or your drift fluid. If you, accordingly, I would get different weights just so that, get your standard weight and get next weight over top of it, just in case if your shock oil is not holding properly. If you notice your shocks is sitting down, if you push your car down and you notice it's not coming all the way up and is doing it often, go to the next weight. Go up one weight and see how that will work for you. My shocks on this car don't have no up when you push it down. Some people, when they push their car down, it sits down halfway and you gotta lift it all the way back up. That's the Mega, the Creighton. See, I'm only showing you my bashes because my bashes is the one that take all of the I bash with these cars. So if they're gonna be messed up, they're gonna be messed up. So even with the Creighton, when you push the Creighton down, it comes all the way up. There's no lift on the Creighton after you done pushed it down. I could push it down, hold it down, lift her up. There's no lift on the car. That means my shocks is very, very good. I didn't test this one out ever since I crashed it that time. Nah, this one is even better. I could tell that it ain't no, so all my cars is like that. The main part about running your cars is not just running them and bashing until they break. You bash with your cars, you tear your cars up. Sometimes you just gotta sit them to the side and clean them up, take your time, and bash another car while you're taking your time maintenance in the car that you just did so much bashing and had so much fun. It's not fun when your car breaks and you have to fix the car before you can run it again. So it's better to bash with your car, bash it, give her a little maintenance. The shocks is definitely a need to do when you bashing your car, because the shocks absorb all of the lands when you bashing your car. It's every time you land on the wheels, the shocks absorb that. So if your shocks is not good and it's not absorbing all of the pressure from the car bashing, coming down 7-8 feet in the air, and it's slamming down, your arms is going to start to break. Things on your cars is going to start to break. So it's better to keep up with everything on your car. Take a peek at it, open your car up, let your engine, just give it a little throttle and see how your engine is running. See if your gearing your mesh is still proper. You know, see if your center shaft, make sure it's not running, make sure it's not wobbling too much out of control. If it is, get one of the mounts that goes in the middle of your center shaft to hold it a little bit more better. You know, or your arms, check your arms, make sure your arms is not popping out of the balls, you know, and just sitting there and just wobbling and you just didn't notice until it broke. So just maintenance your car. That's all this video mainly about, is maintenance your car, showing you how to get inside to your differentials. That was the main focus on this video, but you know, I'm going to end this one off by just letting you know, give your car a little tender love and caring. Maintenance your car. She'll last longer. She'll last way longer. She'll bash way better. You know, she'll do wonders. So, I'm going to call this one that one. This one is out. I'm out of here for this one. And like, share, subscribe. Come back again. I'm going to keep having these videos coming at y'all. If y'all following me, y'all already know I got these videos coming back to back. And they're getting better and better. So subscribe so you can get that notification when I'm putting up a new video. You can be the first one to like, first one to comment, first one to share it. So stick with me, man. Catch y'all in the next one.